I thought I'd jump on real quick and share some stuff, because I know that people are faced with some real hard situations in life, and I just want to let them know that I've gone through these too, and you just keep doing the next right thing and putting your best foot forward. Don't screw people over, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't be a scumbag, just try to do the next right thing, and things work out. I'm seeing evidence in this. So 5 years ago, October 17th, that was the day we left Salem, Oregon. Now, we only lived in Salem for 4 years. God, it seems like it was twice that long. And August, the landlady where I live had given me notice that she wanted me and my mom to be out less than 45 days. Now, mind you, it's 2020. Now, we're in the midst of a lot of people getting sick. I lived in Salem, Oregon. There was fires everywhere. I have pictures of the sky. Just, you couldn't see the sun. That's how, and it was like in the middle of the day, you couldn't see the sun. You see a red outline of the sun. It was surreal. It was spooky. It's freaky. If you ever have to live in a situation where there's fire or flood or anything, it's scary as shit on planet Earth. So, we were asked to leave because she wanted her son to move in to the house that we were renting out so she could move in with her boyfriend, because it wouldn't look good, if you go live with your boyfriend and then your 25-year-old son moves in, or 27, because he don't know how to take care of himself, because mom never taught you how to take care of yourself. That's what my generation, Gen X, fucking ruined so many freaking smart people by just not teaching them how to take care of themselves, just by, feeling bad because they didn't have people to count on when they were kids, because their parents are boomers like my parents and sucked and only cared about themselves. And so instead of teaching them, viable skills, you just do everything for them, and then they get put in a place where you don't want to do that more. Now you got dead weight, that you don't want to take care of. And so we had less than 45 days under all this, and I only had like $5,000 in the bank, which I know it doesn't, but when you have to move I had like $3,000 in the bank. That's cool. Welcome. I'm telling a story about 5 years ago when I moved away from Salem, Oregon, and how hard it was. Now, my brother drove up from Sacramento. He stopped in Redding to stay with one of his fraternity brothers, so he didn't have to drive the whole 7 hours. You haven't seen a Bible in 40 years? You know what? Here. I'm not good at reading it and stuff like this. Where is it? I was given this thing back in 1997. I took good care of it. It has my name on it. Marge Hessick. It's she, a little mixed up and sick. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying every day to get better. It's he sick, and the men in my family really are. So there's a lot of truth to be said in the name. But I was given this book back in 1997, and it's this rainbow study guide. But don't get it mixed up. It ain't that gay rainbow. Nobody gets that. As a matter of fact, now is a good time to advertise this little thing that I do for people. I make stickers, and now I have magnets. I give them to people because people like stickers. There's lots of things we can do to make people happy. So now I got I'm the magnet t-shirt magnet business. I wish they were like a little thicker. They're not real thin, like maybe twice the thickness. I had to borrow mom's thumb thumbnail to get it off because I'm going to put some on my card. Right. Take one for people, right? Because so many people do shit for money and money ain't real, right? It's straight people. We all love rainbows and it's cheeky because I ain't straight. People tell me to go straight at an intersection. They say, I correct them. I say, I only go forward. I don't go straight. So I was given this Bible, and I'm starting to read it and stuff, and it has like the old maps. It's really cool. It's all color-coded. And then it has this key in it, and the colors correspond with what you're reading about. So it's a study Bible. So purple is God, which is my least favorite color, but oh well, you know. Talks about discipleship, love, faith, sin, Satan, salvation, family, witnessing, commandments, history, prophecy. Well, I know some stuff about a little bit about this stuff, you know, and that kind of goes along with the story that I was telling about 5 years ago when we had to move from Salem, Oregon. And some lady in Flagstaff, Arizona, Carrie J. Gunn. I found the letter that she wrote the other. As a matter of fact, it's right here. Let's see. If I have it. There it is, I think. I guess I don't have it. I don't know where it's at. What I do, me and Mom, we move around a lot. We don't, and when we live in a place, we like to travel around, or I like to travel around. Sometimes Mom likes to go. But then I do stuff. But then I meet people. I met Obie Dog. Remember Obie Dog? I met Obie Dog because I was friends with Nora. That's Hunter. They're all gone now. They're all three at the Rainbow Bridge. And that's my Tucker. He just left September 2nd. He's on the back of the calendar that Nora made. And then that was cool. I met her on social media. Then I moved to Oregon and Obie was a cool dog. He lost like 50 pounds. There's a custody suit. He was on. She went to twice. She went to New York City to be on the Today Show. Like now, she had this whole following. They did a tour, and I got to meet him at Tractor Supply at Tractor Supply in Lincoln. Yeah. That was right before I got dumped. So when we had to leave Oregon, didn't have a whole lot of options, and I asked my brother, who's a big important lawyer in California, works for the Office of Parole. He's worked for the state of California like his whole career. He did like one part that he was a teacher, and then everything got like he was a programmer, and now he writes letters with the office of the governor, and it's just all bullshit, you know. They never do anything that's so important that they're justify their 6-figure salaries, you know, because they're not good men that sit in these chairs, and my brother is not a good man. When I went and asked him, I said, I need my credit shot, you know. I promised Mom I'd never put her in a home. It's hard to find a place to live. Like, I can't leave her anymore. I can't go to work and, like, physically leave her because she doesn't eat. She'll just sit there in the chair, and that's cool. You can block them, I think. I think you're a moderator if you want. I don't know. I don't fucking care. There's trolls everywhere because they're low vibrational beings. They're like little bots. They're like, I've never done with anything with my life, so I'm gonna come into your chat and bother you and whatever, you know. That's cool. I just saw you. Yeah, you got it. You got my 6. That's cool. If not, I mean, I don't know. I just get it. I got rage baited earlier, and then I realized what was happening. So you just gotta not let it happen. That's cool. You know, I appreciate that. Good looking out. So when we got invited by this lady, Carrie J. Gunn, to come live with her and her daughter in Arizona, so I got a U-Haul in my truck. Wow. And my truck was starting to break. And I just realized this, like, the day before I was supposed to drive to Flagstaff, Arizona with my 4 dogs and my cat, because when my brother came up to get my mom and then brought her down to Sacramento for the weekend, he didn't help like load up or anything or do anything. He just kind of came, looked through some stuff. I think he was looking for something specific, and then he couldn't find, and so they left. My neighbors, thank God, across the street helped me load up the trailer because I'm not good with space stuff and judging space. So I actually had, after I left, I had to make arrangements for and pay a guy $660 to come and leave like a brand new, like all this stuff I had to leave that I didn't have space for. Yeah, that whole I drove all 27 hours. I couldn't turn off the truck. I didn't sleep. They pulled me over. A cop pulled me over in Klamath Falls, and like escorted me to Walmart. And then I stayed there with the truck on because I couldn't stop it, because if I didn't I couldn't break down. I had to get there, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. It's scary shit. So I waited like an hour, and then I went on my way again. So, because I left at like 9:30 at night. I was like, just fuck it, just do it, drive all night, you know. It took me 27 hours to get to Omaha to Oregon. I stand corrected. It took me, I think it only took me like 23 hours or something. It was like 23 hours to get from Salem, Oregon to Flagstaff. And I just remembered like going off planet in some place in Nevada, because it was October 17th, but it was still hot. Like, it was that weird energy that was just perpetuating my experience. And it was hard on the dogs. The cat was a trooper, because I'm in a Ram, just an extended cam 1996 Ram truck, you know, and made it all the way down there. And then I went to sleep, or got there and started unloading stuff into the shed that the lady said I could put my stuff in. And I was like, first thing I noticed is that that they were just watching me. Like, when they didn't offer to help me. They didn't offer nothing, right? No, Mom wasn't there yet, because she was in Sacramento. Now I had to unload this trailer, take the U-Haul back, and when we got to Flagstaff, that was the last time I ever drove that truck again. I had to leave it in Flagstaff. The engine was perfectly good. The computer was bad. and I took it to a mechanic that was a fucking fraud. And then when it came down to it and it was time to go, I just had to sign over my title. It sucked. I like that truck. Like, trucks have personalities and stuff like that, you know? I don't get attached to things anymore because the last time I did that, the car got totaled, and it's just like, don't get attached to inanimate objects, and then you don't have this disappointment in life. And so, very soon after we got there, and it was during COVID and stuff, and Luna didn't drink water the whole time, so she peed blood, and I was freaking out, and the whole thing was just so hard. It was such a hard thing. And then after unloading the trailer and all that stuff and getting the U-Haul thing back, that was the last time the truck drove, is when I dropped off the U-Haul. It almost didn't start there. And then I got it back, and then it never drove again. So, it went off and then we were there, we weren't there very long. And then, this lady, she was only she was a very tiny woman. And what it became very painfully obvious was, she didn't invite us to live there to give us a better position in life. She did it because she was an angry, fucking old, lady that was my age, but she didn't take care of herself. So, she had, false teeth and stuff, and, her body was wrecked from washing dogs and things, because she was a dog groomer, and she decided that what she wanted, her plan for us to be, didn't fit what we were, and so she said, you can't stay here. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. She made me put now my dogs were my kids, you know. It's I take care of mom, and then the dogs keep me company, so I don't get bored, you know, go stir crazy, just making sure mom's okay. And so they're my companions. They, you know, we talk funny, we have funny conversations. They're my best friends. And then she was like, well, your dogs need to go. They don't need to be here during the day. So she just kept pulling this weird rules out of her, and I felt like I was in the military again. And then I had all this anger inside, and I had to learn to subdue my anger, and that was so hard for me to learn how to do, because there was this big glass, and she just would do things that would make life so hard for me, because I'm already doing the best I can. And then mom didn't remember the rules, don't flush toilet down the toilet, you know, and then she would do it, and then I would get yelled at and stuff like that, and I couldn't do anything to defend myself because she was already putting me out on the street with my mom, and that was fucking scary. And there's this woman that watched my YouTube videos. This is why I believe in God, and don't put people through plate glass windows. You just gotta keep being cool, because my first thing is to treat people how I always got treated when I was little, and that's if you want somebody to fold, you want somebody to buckle, hurt them. They will do whatever you want, and I don't want to be like them. So I try to live by my heart, but I was scared, because I had no place to go. And this angel, God touched this woman's heart, came right out of heaven, touched this woman's heart, watched me. I was 120 pounds. I'm a good 170 now. But at the time I was losing my soul. I was just I don't know what to do. And so, exactly, you're absolutely right, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. You nailed it. It's their imbalance is throwing everything off, and and I'm trying to hold the equilibrium, right? I'm trying to hold the frequency, like, you know. And this angel, she watched my videos and she's like, "Where are the dogs?" I'm like, "They gotta be outside," because she doesn't want them inside. So, you know, it's like we were just blocked off in this one. It was hard. It was so hard, and I couldn't talk about it on my videos. I was still doing my videos, but I couldn't talk about it because she was already. I'm calling agencies. I'm calling nonprofits. I'm calling all these people. I need help. I need help. I'm a female veteran. I'm taking care of my mom. This woman wants us homeless. I don't know what to do. And so I put the appeal out on YouTube videos, and there's this astrologer. She's not on anymore. Her name's Marge Astrology. She said, I was in her chat, and this woman, Denise, I think her name was, no, what was her name? Cynthia. I've seen her in other chats. Cynthia Montgomery. And she saw my appeal back when I was in Oregon, and I was like, I can't move the freaking. She's like, I know somebody has a trailer in Rancho de Taos, New Mexico. And I said, that's like so. I can't. That's so far. I can't do that. You know. And then we end up there, and then she said that trailer's still open, and I said, here's my email address. Email me, and she did, and got me in contact with that woman while this stranger that watched my videos and was watching me spiritually circle the drain said, she called me, or she gave me her number. She said, call me, and I called her. Because I prayed. I said, God, please help me. We need a miracle. I don't know what to do. And some old lady who lost her husband saw my videos. And she said, I want to help you. She said, what's your address? I'm going to send you a check for $15,000. $15,000. A stranger. So when people don't believe in God, I can't comprehend that. Because I have seen all the evidence that disputes that if you don't live right, good things don't happen. I see too much. And so I was able to call one of those movie companies where they charge you $3,000 to get dropped off downtown in Flagstaff. They had 2 auto dealerships. Now, mind you, it's during COVID. And like my bank was still in Oregon, so I had to take a picture of the check. And they said, okay, we're going to hold that for half of it for 7 days. And then in 14 days, we'll release the rest. Well, that gave me enough to go down to the auto place to fucking, like, they had 2 minivans. I just said, I need a minivan to carry my mom and dogs and cat. We had 5 dogs and a cat. And so I found one. It was like $3,500. Wrote a check. We packed up. The lady didn't even let me wait for the scheduled appointment for the moving truck to get there. She was like, "You guys get out," and then, you know. And so she took my shit, you know. Down on Bugle Lane, she took my shit. But I learned a long time ago you can't get attached to stuff, because I've had to start over so much in life. You're breaking your own heart if you get sentimental and want to, you know, have so much things that make you feel good. I have things that make me feel good because they hold the energy of that time. It's a reminder of that thing, you know. But your brain does that too. And so Mom and I busted out Like 6 weeks, 7 weeks we were there. That was such a karmic experience. Like I'm just cleaning out my storage unit because we got one more move in us. In the spring, I'm looking for our farm. I'm tired of watching people, you know, have all their ideas of how they want to help America this planet become a better place. Turtle Island, and my idea is I'm gonna have a place for people to travel to. You can do laundry. You can, have a rad fucking outdoor kitchen and a community space for gathering. There will never be a time that there isn't a pot of coffee on for people. There'll always be people for. He's always done that. You want to hear something? The craziest part of all, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot, is that we end up in Ranchos de Taos. And back when we were in Oregon, back in 2017, I got my DNA. We got Mom's DNA tested because she was always adopted, and I always wanted to know where I came from, right? And so back in 2017, I'm getting emails from people, and they're talking about Colorado, and they're saying states like Colorado, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to focus on right here. That those states aren't even on my world right now. I'm trying to take care of Mom. Like, I can't think about this stuff, right? And then after we got to Ranchos de Taos, right outside of Taos, I go back and I visit those emails because I was like, wait, they talked about New Mexico and Colorado and stuff like that. We moved here in 2020, right after the eclipse, December 2020. Like 3 days before the eclipse, we moved here. And then after we got here, it was verified by DNA relatives that Mom was born in Cuesta, New Mexico, 22 miles north of Taos, New Mexico. So that is how we got here. Is Mom's see, genetics is magnetics, right? Our behavior is drawn by what our ancestors have done. If they've done dirty things, we gotta not do the dirty things. And I got my whole dad's side is Freemasons, and his dad was Freemasons all these generations. But his dad watched his dad die when he was 17. So like they he got special. Oh, Butch got special advantage because that's a fucking shitty, tragic thing to watch your dad die. And so. And then on my dad's mother, she was the Eastern Star. She's related to a dude that was in the room with the Declaration of Independence. His name was Isaac Walton. Yeah, he's the colonial guy. That's why my brother has all of his privilege. I'm the sacrifice, because I won't play their stupid reindeer games. I'm all about giving people freedom of choice and not taking all their choices away and making people so stressed out that they turn that life of crime to take care of their family, when all the government has to do is give them whatever they need to, $2,000. Universal income. Speak it into existence. $2,000. Every being born as a United States, in the U.S., you get $2,000 from birth, and then you don't have to worry about orphanage, is because your parents aren't going to throw you away because they can't afford you, unless they're junkies and drunks, and that's for another story. But Mom just wanted to take care of us, and the system just kept making up rules, and you have to do this, and you have to do that, because my dad was connected. And that's what they do. That's all they'll take away your kids to, Anyway. So now we've been here 5 years. We're not going to be here much longer. Because relatives have never really done me a whole lot of favor. We met Adrian Cisneros, his mom's cousin. He's the one that verified, like Like, Mom has a boxer uncle. He's a famous boxer here in New Mexico. His name is Larry Cisneros. You know, but he see, the privilege that people get never impacted my life. That's why I'm so able and willing to talk so much trash about these little bitches that have so much, that want to make sure that people have nothing. Because I've been grown up, I grew up around them. I was amongst the advantage. I won awards in the military. I was all gung-ho, but I was only willing to play their game to get a college education so I could get a job to take care of my mom. I talk shit about the military and what a joke it was every day. They couldn't fucking stand it. Because their standards in the United States Air Force was beneath my own. And once I always had, like, I was on the weight management program. All these people that are getting kicked out now, it happened back then. It just happened to, it didn't happen to freaking so many people let themselves go. Fitness is readiness to anybody. But people just got paid to be lazy, so now all these people have heart disease, diabetes, all this freaking health shit, So freaking people all over comments. My 36-year-old son just died of cirrhosis of the liver. Well, that's why I'm here. Don't drink. Alcohol causes 7 kinds of cancers. That's that Earth Angel I was telling you about. She found me right as her sweet beloved husband passed away. He just died. She came across, and then she just would space out on me because, like, the world she knew fell apart. And so she was watching somebody else's world fall apart in different ways, and she could relate. And you know what makes me feel better when my world falls apart? Helping other people. Like her. That's how she found me, because like attracts like. And generous people will always find the people that, that they can be generous to. It's just that we have a hard time weeding out the people that are going to take advantage of us. And that's okay. You take advantage of me sometimes, that's okay. I just ain't going to allow it so much, And I want to build a place where I can help people build themselves up. Because I was always such a hard worker. And every now and again, a hard worker would recognize the hard worker in me. And they would stop and be like, you know what, you're a really hard worker. But it would take a hard worker to see that I was a hard worker. To everybody else, I was just invisible. This one guy at Chevy's, I was a busser, he stopped me and did that. And I met him before, and I don't know if he remembers meeting me before. He was a friend, this chick I went to high school with, Amy, her dad was a judge. Peculiar guy. Amy was adopted. They were older. She was a year older than me in high school, but he was like in his 60s. It was just like the whole vibe was kind of a trip, right? But I'm going on to get along, right? And one time they had dinner, and they hosted this guy. And this guy, his name was Vaughn, I believe. And I've looked him up since. But he used to, when I grew up in Redding, California, it was during the era where people would go around and talk at schools and share their experience and strength and hope, And this guy did that. And I can't remember, where his beginning was, but his shtick is that he had this colossal upper body strength. And he would do 2 things physically that would set him apart from anybody else. So this man didn't have a lot of peers either. And those 2 things was he could tear a phone book in half. Wow. Which is wow. And he could also take a railroad spike and bend it with his bare hands. Wow. And that guy stopped me and said, and he was so he was sitting at table 12. I still remember it. He was this big, huge guy, and he was sitting there with 23, right next to table 12, the little 2-top. I think Chevy's has been closed since 2000. But I can still picture the restaurant in my mind because I spent so much time there. And so I was racing around, bussing and bringing people chips and salsa and stuff like that. And he just stopped. He puts his arm out and like to get my attention. I don't even, he was just sitting and he didn't even like, he was just so cool, calm and collective. Like he takes a bite. He looks up over in my direction and he goes, I just want to tell you that you were a very hard worker. And when I go out to places, those are the people that I watch. I watch the people that hustle. I watch the people that move. I watch the people that are efficient. I watch the people that aren't doing, like, making extra steps for themselves, right? Like, I'm always, we're all computers. People just sludge theirs up with freaking nasty stuff. And I used to do it too. When I moved to Oregon, I remember I was like guzzling through straws, 2 Red Bulls, and that's just, if you want to, that ain't conducive to health. And the movies make them look bad. See, I never thought Cyclops were bad, and I always felt bad for the giant, the fee-fi-fo-fum. Like, leave the fucking guy alone. You know, leave him to his golden egg-laying chicken. Who the fuck are you to steal his shit? You know? Like, the Cyclops, like all that stuff, they make us all look, they just make, we just been hurt, you know? We don't want to be hurt no more. So, we get any semblance someone's gonna hurt us, I turn into a Cyclops too. An angry one, not the kissy flower smelly kind, you know? We all got it in us. We all have a devil and an angel on our shoulder. It's like, you know, we all got the white wolf, we all got the black wolf. Which one do you feed? We all got the shadow, we all got the light. Which one are we doing actions in most? I was telling my earth angel today, I was talking to her earlier about the nail. They say up in Cuesta, the natives around here at the Pueblo, Taos Pueblo, there's so much. See, they call it, I just hate secrets. Just tell me everything you know and I'll assess history out of that, you know? Just give me all the data you got. This one dude, he's divorced. He and his wife are divorced now. I ordained, only performed one wedding. That was on that Tuesday, 22 February. Well, anyway, they've got married, but they're divorced now. But I remember him telling me that about the stories of the giants in Cuesta. That's where Mom was born. So Mom's probably got that. She's a little itty bitty bit, but she probably got that giant blood in her. And then she gave me that giant blood, and then I got the alien blood from my dad's side. So, you know, I'm just this little menagerie of freaking, yay, be good, because I'll rip your face off, you know, like, be happy, because I'll freaking good. Because they call it bipolar, I call it a spectrometer, a full spectrum person that has had a lot of life experience, and we haven't got to keep our energy field in a subdued state. Because we've been fucking traumatized so many times in life. Like, you've been traumatized so many times in life, it's just like, I saw in excess in Sacramento about 6 weeks before he died. I know Devil Inside. No, I remember, I saw it I was supposed to be in a prom fashion show, because I wore plaid shorts for prom. I was like, I told people, like, I would dress, like, I wore plaid short this for one dress up day, and then I told people that's what I was going to wear for prom, and then they were having a prom fashion show and wanted me to be in it, but I was going to Sacramento Cal Expo to see it.Artists. And another band I saw right before the lead singer, like Shannon, the lead singer was Shannon. I saw Blind Melon. Like 2 weeks before he died. I've seen a lot of bands. My first show was Primus. I was 15. Mom, I'm going to stay the night at so-and-so's house. Okay. Go to Chico. Like, come on. I already fessed up. I always fessed up later. And then Les Claypool was trying to freaking hit on me, literally. Mind you, I'm 15. But I look older, right? I guess. I don't know. They don't care. And he's like bumping into me. I was at a bar afterwards called, listening to a band called Eskimo. And I look up there, like, I looked him up recently. And I was like, wow, what campy music. It's like circusy, but punk rock. Like, this has got a cool vibe. I was digging it. I was in the Bear. That's what the bar was called. The Bear. Yeah. And I lied to you, I'm only 15. It was a full bar. So this guy was kept bumping into me and stuff, and I looked over and I was just like, cha, like the nerve, and then went back to in the back where my friends were. And they're like, dude, Marge, you don't know who that was? That was just standing next to you? And I was like, no, like I had drank earlier, but wasn't, like I was sobering up, you know? And I'm nearsighted, I can't see far away and stuff. And homeboy who I was with said, Marge, that's Les Claypool. That's the dude we just watched in concert, the lead singer. And I was like, okay. Why was he hitting me? What a jerk. Yeah, so labels, it's like, I never really got like too goofy over famous people because everybody's crap stinks. Everybody has stinky poo. And based on that, nobody is exceptional beings. Then you find out what they are. When I lived in Omaha, because Omaha is a huge energy harvesting place, and that place, I saw freaking so many concerts there, and like comedians and stuff. And then, because I had all this extra minute. I went to a cow field in South Dakota, picked up a chick on my bike. She got me back. Flat me. That's cool. I used to listen to Cheap Trick, and back in 2000, my brother's like, don't you think that's kind of sad? That one of your favorite songs is I Want You to Want Me? Like, I was like, it's a good, what the fuck? He's a Virgo. Virgo's always got his shit on Aries. I had a little sister who's a Virgo too. She has 5 kids, 3 of her younger kids, and the father of her younger kids didn't even know I existed. We're unseen. But yeah, I like Cheap Trick. I thought that was a cool song. We would jump the wall. Here's another funny story. We would jump the wall when I was in tech school. Because the military isn't what people think it is. It's a whole lot of acting like you're serious, but it's a whole lot of fucking not. And we would get out of class. You had S shift and T shift. S shift was day shift and T shift. So you went to school, like march to school, crack at dawn in the morning. That sucked through all kinds of weather. And then T shift was you get to, stay up later and you have class from 2 in the afternoon until 10 at night. And sometimes if the instructor was cool, you could get out earlier. And you're a Gemini? I'm Gemini. I got Gemini, 29 degrees in Saturn in my 12th house. And 23 degrees Mars in my 12th house. So I know Gemini. And the whole duality, back and forth, the 2 signs, back and forth. Because I got a stellium. I have 3 Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter are all in Pisces. So that's almost half my chart that's boop, 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 2 signs. So which one we gonna get? The negative Marge or the positive? Because like attracts like, and I match energy. Which is dangerous to do in New Mexico because they'll just fucking shoot you or run you over with your car. Because they don't got emotional control, because that's what happens when people never learn how to control their emotions. So, so Friday night we get out a little bit early, right? And me, this chick named Naylor, and a couple other people, there's a bar right outside of the base. But it was past curfew. You couldn't go out to the bar, so we all walked over to the edge of the wall right across the street from where the bar was, and all helped each other with our, camaraderie and our, used all of our ingenuity and our soldierdom and put it all together so we could hop the fence and then go across the street to the bar. We weren't very smart. We didn't really plan it out. Didn't really think about who else was going to be at the bar and how many of those instructors left those classes and went right over to that bar to drink. And then in walks the airman that they were just teaching. You know what happened? The whole bar ended up getting into a great big old huge coaster fight. Whole bar! Students breaking rules with teachers breaking rules because they're drinking in uniform and it don't matter because the military's a joke. It's all for show. Just don't get caught is what the rule of thumb is. Just don't do shit that you can get in trouble for is what I evolved out. You see, you either evolve closer to spirit or you de-evolve into ego. Right? So I want to help people do things and make their lives better. Like, I want to be the kind of person that draws finances from higher proprietors. And I use what income I have, what I get to do things like make stickers and magnets and give them to people like that. Yeah, I was at Offutt Air Force Base. I flipped off George Bush on 9/11. I was on Crete when we bombed Iraq. As a matter of fact, if you want to see, I got these pictures right here. Here's me in tech school. Wichita Falls. Age, I was age. So it's all paid vacations. That's Crete, This is from the sun. That's where most of the sun. Imagine military personnel staying at a hotel called the Sun with their Freemason shit. And we drove around, played tourist. And this is what war is, off time drinking beers. Like, we never had any reason to fucking bomb Iraq. Were you Desert Storm? See, I had a roommate who was in Desert Storm, and he would tell me, dude, the military's... And I was like, I didn't understand what he was talking about. Like, it was crazy. That's from the Sun Hotel. But wait, it gets better. I got some more cool shit. Okay. Because I was age. I was flight line support. Which, here's the from the hotel room I stayed in. That's facing Greece. I felt like I was on a soundstage. The whole time it didn't seem real. It felt so fake. We drive to Suda Bay, and they had snipers up on top of the hill. I almost went to Turkey. But they closed down. They weren't letting the airmen that were there, they weren't letting them out. They were on a travel freeze. But I almost went there, and I ended up on Crete instead. And that's when I learned what fucking America and what war is all about. It's about paid vacations, paying ourselves hazardous duty pay, National Guardsmen coming from all over the United States to support their plane, and then they fly over hazardous duty so they can get paid tax-free. This is when we were going in. This is when we were leaving. That's Italy, I believe, because we flew into Naples. Just chilling, because we're at war, so drinking beers next to the pool, that's it. Man, I'm the unprofessional, because I would say things, because I knew it was fucking lame. And I figured it out. And then I would call them on their bullshit. So they had call signals like Recce 5. And I would say things like, I would go, I'm sorry, was that Recce 5 or Barney Fife?
Wow.
Was that Barney Fife or Recce 5? I couldn't hear. Could you repeat that again? This was me with some employees at the hotel. This was me in this t-shirt that I was wearing earlier when it was brand new. The island of Crete. Wait, it gets better. Here we go. This is what this is I was in one of the trucks. This is the flight line. You can't really see it. But all of those right there, those are all Humvees.
Wow.
There's like 75, 100 Humvees. It goes all the way back. These are big cargo planes.
Wow.
Right?
Right.
This is also, and then Crete is where the Muse, they brought 550 Marines in for shock and awe. Okay? So if you go to Wikipedia or whatever and you look at shock and awe, like the first strike, when America first went in, democracy, freedom. What America doesn't understand is that there's dudes get fucking like aroused when they get violent, and so they do things in war that they don't think anything, and nobody's ever gonna find out about but themselves. They gotta live with themselves, right? And so they do these terrible, horrific things. These extracurricular, here I got to play tourist, because it's a tourist stop. I'm right in the middle of fucking tourist season on the island of Crete, and we're bombing fucking Iraq! It's crazy. Oh, that's not a picture I want to show. So, there's one more like that. There's one more picture of the flight line like that. Where's it at? So that splits a person's psyche. Getting to play tourist and bombsy bombs. So these 500 Marines, they took off, and when they left, they were all psyched. They're all kill, kill, kill. You know, like they do. That's what the military does. It pumps you up to kill people that don't deserve to die. And so when they are like little tops that spin around, you let them go, and they do the thing that they're, trained and psyched to do. They start doing those things. Well, the thing of it was, here's another picture of that pool. They just redid the pool at the Panorama. They were rebuilding it because they just came into a bunch of money because they started housing all these military members. But the people in the hotel didn't know we were military. Maybe the other people because they had the haircuts, but I just looked like I was on vacation. And so, but what happened was they went in, these Marines did their thing, and then they brought them back to the hangar where I worked. And then they brought them back to the same place where they brought them to. So they launched their, so much. It's just it's tourism. Only we're killing people. Why we're tourists. That's America. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. And then they come back and have parades for it. And I'm just like, don't do that. So they brought the Marines back, right? And they put them in this hangar that they just left in. And they don't have anything but the uniform that they traveled in. So they're in their same clothes. There's no place for them to shower. There's like a male and female bathroom in the hangar. And then above where we were in this other hangar was like mission control kind of shit. And like where the crew chiefs, their little area was, right? Because everybody just wants their own little place where they can be away from the bullshit. And so they brought these Marines back, and then they just left them in this hangar. I was there for 32 days, 39 days. Mom was in the hospital 32 days one time. 39 days. I was there 39 days. I made $1,800 extra above my base pay, all that stuff. I was never cool enough with the guardsmen, so I didn't get to fly in the plane. I would have made more than that if I would have got tax free and hazardous duty. And the way they do it is they fly over like at 11:30 at night, and then they fly in 30 minutes, turn around over hazardous duty airspace, no fly zone space, come back, so they're an hour at the end of 1 month, or a half hour at the end of 1 month there, and then so they get 2 months tax free. It's just all a racket. While single moms are at home just like, I can't deal with these kids. They act just like their father, you know. So it's all cash. It's all, that's what the military is. Like, they're black ops. Like, it's secrets. And if you tell your secrets, then you'll go to jail. But they're doing terrible things. And that's worse. And so these guys, the whole time I was there, they were in there like 10 years, turned down medals from the Air Force, could not. That's why once I saw 9/11 and I was like, because I was like, I wonder what they're going to do in order to kick off this fake bullshit war that they want. Because we knew it was ever since, because you knew it, based on it's just, you see this stuff, right? You see, because you watch PBS when you're a kid, and you watch Sesame Street, and they show controlled demolitions, and you read Highlights magazines, and you can see the difference between this and this, and see that, and then you go through trauma, and then you're hyper vigilant too, and then so all these things add up, and what don't add up is that America ain't no more than a dirty corporation that only cares about the people at the top, and it's falling, so things are going to change. We just got to keep. I got ideas how to get everybody paid. Autistics, whatever. I'm not a programmer. I need a programmer in my world. I need someone to put me in touch with a programmer, and we'll tap into all these freaking multi-trillion-dollar surpluses that states just don't know what to do with. Everybody, you want to go pick up trash? $15 an hour. And then you get coin, you get extra, you do it for so long, boop, boop. You add up so much weight, and then you don't have to worry about, just your city goes around and people in trucks go around picking up the garbage that you collect, and then you get paid. And it's all by using GIS software. And all the satellites. You know, you take a before, because if you look at the pictures that you take, every with your phone, you take pictures. I do it all the time on accident. I'm always going up here, and it has all these stats. And it has, I don't have my location on, but you can turn on your location. It has time stamps. It has the date. It has an add location here, right? Person doesn't like dealing with people. Needs to make some money, goes out, picks up some trash. They take picture, verify, date, stat, and of course there's going to be people that are cheap, but there's always workarounds for that, right? And then have people verify, okay, you were out here 4 hours, did so much weight of garbage, thanks for lightening the load to your community. That's what did I say? 4 hours? $60. There's all kinds of, because there's people that want to do stuff. They don't want to just do stuff for the people that are telling you what to do. There's plenty of people who want to participate in their own communities. They just don't want to be like, and plus, the positions, the good jobs, they're all given away to the chosen fucking golden child, like my brother. They only have so many, they don't create jobs for special people. They only have so many positions, and then they put the special people in those positions. And my brother's he makes $240,000 a year, and he told me, Mom's your problem. And I'm fucking, they said I was retarded when I was 12, so I'm this retarded woman that fucking
is freaking 40-something years old, got 8 anthrax vax. I got 8, now I got to fight my anger every day, you know, over the pain I feel constantly from my body forever being inflamed because, but hey, misery loves company, right? What happened? What did the world do? They tested that fucking COVID shit on me. I stayed healthy, and then 15 years later, they rolled it out to the fucking whole world. And look at what's happened to all these other people that didn't listen to they didn't listen to the people that says, don't eat that junk food, it's not good for you. Or if you do, you gotta exercise. You gotta keep balance for whatever, lazy you are, you got to make up for it. And so I always had this thing about balance in my head, and I wanted to hang out with other people that were balanced and that were active and that would play but still do work too. And I went through my years where all I did was play, and I lived for my ego. I was a drunk 13 years, straight up drunk, didn't give a fuck. I would have put mom in a home in a heartbeat, because that's what alcohol does to me. It takes my spirit. It gives me permission to be egomaniacal. And to me, ego is easing God out. And to me, God is good orderly direction. You getting hungry, Mom? You getting chilly? We got that's an evaporated cooler. That's the best $187 I ever. On the other side, it has a little drawer. You put cold water in there. Because this little casita I live in, it's thank God it stays. It's already getting cold here. It's like 28 cold degrees. And it's going to stay nice and toasty in here, I think. But so, it still stays cold, and then at like 7, sun goes down, temperature drops, then I got to unplug that, and then plug in the heater so I can turn that, turn the heater on for when I need to turn it on about 4 o'clock in the morning, because that fan stays on. I know how to make people comfortable, I just can't, I don't know how to convince the lizards and the control freaks and the narcissists and the greedy and the scumbags and the trash holes and like all the administration, like how to change their heart so that people that don't have nothing can have something while they have so much, and still treat what they have like nothing. Yeah? That shouldn't be so hard to do, right? Because human beings, because godly people just want what's right for everyone, right? They don't want people starving and fucking freezing to death in the streets. They don't want that. And stop fucking putting people in institutions like they're fucking in prisons. They just don't have a support system in other families. So let's give them more comfortable environments and less fucking college dorm bullshit. Like, I worked at Creighton University in Omaha, dirty Jesuits, and those dorms were fucking they're like hotel rooms, but I guess money that isn't real is so important. You have to fucking shit on things like decency that is, right? So, World War III is of the spiritual variety. We are in the thick of it. I basically wanted to get on and share my story of what happened 5 years ago when we had on this date, and then freaking before that. So, what the first time October 17th was significant to me. If I were to go back into on this date, I had a little dog. Remember Arthur? Arthur. That was his name. He was my destiny dog. When I first got him, I was 18 years old. I was in love. She was a belly dancer. She was tall, hot, smoking, funny. She was a Gemini. I bet she's still funny. I bet she's still a belly dancer. And so, but she was straight. She was like, I was her experiment, right? And that convinced her that she was in fact heterosexual. Because she ended up marrying the dude that she cheated on me with and having a kid and stuff. So he ended up later cheating on her and leaving her for a younger model, all that stuff. So what goes around comes around. But anyway, that's not part of the story. So when I turned 18, it was April 1992, and then Mom I got in a car accident, and I was supposed to get like a $3,000 settlement from the insurance company when I turned 18. And then on my 18th birthday, Mom was like, "No, we're putting it into a trust fund, and then it's all wrapped up in your grandparent." And she lied. She used to lie to me all the time about shit. And then you'll get it when you're 21. And I just, I would relent, and then whatever, And then I came home one day, and I graduated in June. I barely graduated high school. But after things settled down a little bit there, after graduation and stuff like that, I came home one day and Mom locked the door. Or Mom was gone, and and I didn't have a key, and she changed the lock. And so I'd leave, I'd go find a place to stay, and I'd come and I'd like sleep outside in the car, and I'd go, and then my buddy Jeff had a girlfriend who was in high school still, and her parents were out of town, so we'd go over there and hang out with her, and she had these crazy zany friends that would come over too, and they were and Dita was one of them, and she was just so funny, and she was so pretty, and then I didn't even find out later she was a belly dancer. So we kind of had our little fling kind of thing. Well, it was on and off and on and off, and then at one point we were roommates. But while we were driving, her dad had a soft spot for me and let me crash with Dita at their house in his old grow room. And she was still in high school. She was a senior. And so she would get up, go to school, I'd clean the house and stuff like that, and I was trying to get a job, trying to figure out what I was going to do, because Mom wasn't coming back, and I needed a plan, because this guy wasn't going to let me stay there forever. And then like she graduated, and we ended up living together. But while we were driving around with her, or while we lived at her dad's house, we would go to pet stores and look at dogs and stuff, and like imagine a life where we, like Playhouse or whatever, imagination, whatever. And then this one pet store that we went to is called Incredible Petables. It on Bocelli Lane. It was like it was such a weird place. I think it was or it's just down from like this castle looking business where they had these, it was in the castle looking businesses. And then it had this driveway that you could drive through and then you drive through, and that was the adult porno store in the back where people, I knew that because I go with people and they'd buy whippets and stuff like that. I didn't like going in because I don't like the way it smells. It smells like maternity houses. It smells like blech, dirty, yuck. And so there's this one, in Incredible Petables, there's this little beagle in there, right? And then we went back another time, and then it was gone. And I worked at Chevy's, like I said earlier, and there was a dude in the kitchen, Sluggo. He was punk rock, hardcore. Yeah, punk rock, hardcore, Sluggo, little dude. Was crashing out in chick I knew, her garage. She's like, "Marge, you gotta come over and check out my new dog. I got a new dog, gotta come check it out." And finally and then like we go over there and hang out for a while, and that was a bad night. I ended up wrecking Dita's car that night. Tequila. Anyway, walked in, and I was like, I looked at the dog. I said, "Where'd you get this dog?" He said, "Pet store over on Bocelli." I said, "Incredible Petables?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You got my dog, and stuff." And then during this time, he had to move out of where he was, and we found a studio apartment that some hoarder lady lived in. That like this place was so bad. It was just a studio, probably the size of this room, pretty much. But it was so nasty in there. She had a console, one of those old wooden console TVs, that she had fruit rotted into the top of the wood. Like that, this place was so, but that was like, we could have it as soon as it was cleaned out. So we were highly motivated to clean it out ourselves. We just pulled over a dumpster and just got rakes and just went at it. It was so gross, but It was a cute, comfy little place, right? And then I went to work one day and Sluggo said, I can't keep our, the dog. You want him? And I was like, yeah, sure. In Rapid City, but they're franchised. That's the thing. No, it's not. It's Chevy's Mexican Restaurant is where I work. The old Fresh Tex-Mex. And then they had like satellite people that would go. They would take the best people from each store, and then they would send them to places to open up new stores. I remember Kenny. They had like the A team. Kenny got to go, and Susie got to go. So they got to open like the one in Dixon. Oh, this was just a bar. Okay. It's still kind of the camaraderie, like you learn. I learned so much from working in restaurants. I learned a lot. How to fake. I'm not a good faker. I'm glad I don't have to fake anymore. I'm glad that my meals aren't contingent on my personality anymore. I'd still be under 20 pounds. Be like that one guy. He calls himself Rich the Hungry. Yeah. You know, like my bills are paid, our overheads taken care of, you know, so I don't need no. That's why I don't care about telling the truth, because I don't. You're fussy. Yeah, that's why I don't hang out in bars much. I used to. Oh my God, I had so much fun in bars. I was telling a story. I was right in the middle of the story. But I don't remember my train of thought. I guess that's time for me to wrap it up. So there's going to be a bunch of people gathering tomorrow, I guess. We're going to wash our hair maybe tomorrow?
No, it's okay.
Mom, she's so cute. Today I said, Mom, what did I do? I said, we got to soak your feet today. We were outside. I don't like to let her sit too long. So every while, I am happy, and then I pick up on energy. It's a tool of divination for me. I'm a psychic intuitive. I fucking read people's minds and thoughts, and what's worse is they read mine. Yeah, and then I have this mouth, like I think I'm saying stuff in my head. And people get so pissed. And I learned, like, you can't talk shit to drunk people. You can't. You shouldn't. It's not ever a good, like, they use things. They get strength that they don't ordinarily, like, weird, they get demons. Like, it's not a good idea to do that. It's not. So it's just not good to provoke the demons. So I don't gather in large groups anymore. A lot of years I gathered in large groups. I would go be a part of the thing. I would do the protest. I would help. You know, I'd skip school in high school. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'd help escort girls in that wanted to get abortions and stuff. Pass all the people at the Petrie. And then I'm older and I see all sides of that. And I still, I guess, always land on free choice, you know? I'm pro-choice, but you give some people choice of what they want to do. They do weird stuff. Talk to any ER nurse. And you're just going to hear stories about shit they pull out of people's butts. Because that's what people do when they have a desired outcome and they want to take a shortcut to that's butt stuff gets you shortcuts to desired outcome. I'm a Heyoka. I go the slow, organic. I don't fucking care if people watch my videos. I don't care if people watch my, like, I fly under the radar of obscurity is what I do. Because I'm not much to look at. But I've had all this life experience, and only other people that have had life experience recognize. I'm looking at South Dakota. Rapid City is on my list of places to buy a farm. Mr. Iski's sister lives there. It's on, there's a thing called astrocartography.
Wow.
It's astrology, and it tells you Why do you keep doing that? Do you want me to put it up? Is it bothering you?
No.
That's what's making it greasy so fast. Is you stuff it down your shirt like that. That's a new thing. Mom has a traumatic head injury. A dude slammed her head in a car door when she was 38. So she ain't never thought like since then she ain't never processed like everybody else. So what I try to do and encourage society to do is create an environment that makes people more comfortable and instead of creating institutions that allocate funds for these top people to get paid 6 figures while people are getting I'm not reses in me. Maybe see that's the thing is because it's a different place and astrocartography wise it's a good place for me to be home wise down that lane then other places I'm looking at are in proximity, like within a half-hour drive in my Suburban on a nice day. 20-minute drive. I don't want to be too far from amenities. I live in Taos and fucking... That is one thing that I loved about Omaha is that you had access to anything. And I mean any part, like... That's why when I found out I got stationed there, I was like, well, it's centrally located, so if I want to take leave and... it's 2.5 hours any direction to get to any destination in the United States, pretty much. Like, 2.5 hours, Like a 2.5 hour flight this way. Well, that's what it used to be. Maybe 3.5 hours. You're in Knoxville, Tennessee. Don't mention this out. Too many people moving here. Thank you for that. See, and I hate winter, but I could still deal with winter because I won't be out in it or I'll have all the tools that I need. To be prepared. But I'm going to share it with the community. I'm not just going to keep it segregated on my own compound like so many of my brothers in arms have done. They have their freaking compounds up in... I got one guy I used to know, he's up in Fairbanks, like he's got 4 trucks and one for every mood he's in, and he's got a skid loader, and he's got this and he's got that, and all this stuff, and it's just like, dude, there's so many people. Look what just happened in Alaska. Like, there's people that could use that stuff when it's just sitting there all the rest of the time, and that's what I would do. Because I just want to keep busy, and I'll take Mom along with me. North Dakota, that's the thing. That's the thing. Cold. That is the thing, and it's a frequency thing, right? Because it's bitter. It's just like the heat. It just brings out people. Like attracts like. So you have people that like they love. I love the peace. I love the peacefulness. Like I used to love the peacefulness when I lived in Omaha. I lived in Benson. It was a yuppie place. You were at Why Not My Not in Eielson. I went to Ellsworth. I'm sorry. Ellsworth is... I don't remember where Ellsworth is. Ellsworth is... You said that earlier. It's in Rapid City. Okay. So you have the 28th Bomb Wing and the B-1 Lancer bombers. And I was in the cockpit of a B-1 bomber on Crete. See how we line up? You probably were maybe as... What did you do? Can I ask, were you a maintainer? I was age. Yeah, there's a dude walking across the flight line with a bag, with bags like his A bags and had all kinds of shit. And I pulled up and I was like, hey, can I give you a ride? And he's like, yeah, sure. Threw his shit in the cab. And then I was like, where are you headed? And he's like, over to the ropes. And I was like, to the B1s? He's like, yeah. And then nuke tech. Okay, I think. What do you think about this? I think nukes are just gigantic EMPs. That's what I think nukes are. I don't. I think that they are like the Enola Gay, because that's what they did at Offit. They modified the Enola Gay for the to drop the bomb in Japan.
Wow.
I think atomic, that is just, it's just, that's what I think. But I don't know, you'd be fun to talk with in real life though, like have a conversation with. So when I was I gave him a ride and I said, "Can I go up into the cockpit?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So I freaking climb up in the ladder, and I felt like Luke Skywalker. I did. I felt like Luke Skywalker, and you know when they go and blow up the den and stuff like that. I was like, holy hell, wow, right? And then it was after that, sometime after that, I was back on duty, stayed back at Offit, and I worked a flight line, and I was always in a truck until the last year I was in production support. I was like hazardous waste material handler, all that shit. I was the TODO, the technical order distribution officer, so I had to maintain and take care of the TO library and all that shit. And then and so I came in, and you know how they used to like pass around emails and like email in the military isn't like office email where you have little yeah, we're pageantry. We're fucking America's collapsing because the fucking curtain is falling. They don't have people. Everybody's all drunk and fucking stoned and out of their minds with demons and stuff. They can't even like take shit together and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, I don't doubt that a lot of people lost their lives because we experimented on decimating them with technology that we stole from freaking craft that they found from a different time, maybe not even a different place. So I was coming back in one day from the flight line and I was walking up to where dudes like do cams work. Understand they still use GUI interface still up until like the 2010s. So no, the military, people always talk about the advancement of the military. It's like, dude, well, they must have some really good shit because all the stuff that like the planes and stuff. We had the RC-1. We supported the B-1 bomber, the Doomsday, or not the B-1 bomber, the E-4, the Doomsday plane, and the RC-134s. Those are the planes that they're exercises. That's what the military does. They can do anything that they want under the guise of it was a military exercise. Right? They're exercising. Like we're hearing in the news right now. Like they want to do military exercise. Oops! It was an accident. That's why we practice. Because if that happened, and you know, like it's so nonsensical. And so these guys, I was walking up. I'm gonna get this story out. So I was walking up, and this guy was watching B-52. Is it Minot? We have one parked out front of Offit. A dude I used to go to AA meetings with. He piloted it. Yeah. He grew really good tomatoes too. But dudes were around the computer when I walked up, and kept playing this video over and over. And I could hear like laughing and stuff, and I walked up and I was like, "What are you guys watching?" And it was that video where there's a B-1 pilot, and he was like taunting a civilian man. And he was in an aircraft. And then he shot the man. And that is something I can never get out of my head, because I was surrounded by these people that were watching that and they were enjoying that. And then when I thought about that, I did a TikTok when I lived in Oregon. Like, you can see where the light turned on in my head, where I realized I was in that cockpit and I could feel all of the souls that were lost because the dude that I just gave a ride to do it, you know, like, what are you doing, Marge? So every year when they have those movies of Christmas Carol, I can always identify with the chains that weighed down old Bob, I can't remember now, that weighed him down for, like, lives lost, harmful actions. So that's why so many people are leaving the earth, because we're just too sensitive and it's too hard to tolerate. But the people that want to keep these control paradigms, they're literally dissolving. Like, look at the people that have been in control and power. One of the best things I ever got out of going to recovery meetings and AA shit like that was the fact that of rotation of service. That, like, give them a commitment for 2 years, let them do whatever they can, and then move it on to somebody else. And America hasn't done that. Now it's payback. I keep thinking of what Turtle Island could be if it wasn't taken over, if it wasn't squandered and hijacked and taken for everything it's worth, you know? That's coming back around now. So I'm excited for the future. There's a lot of young people, you know, that I'm seeing on social media that are, oh my goodness, you know, they want what I want for this planet. How wonderful is for that to hear? They want fairness, and they want people to get Bob Cratchit. Thank you. Yes, Bob Cratchit. Thank your wife for me. Yes, thank you, Bob Cratchit. Yeah, it's just do bad deeds. Those deeds, and see, that's the thing is it's not me fighting against. It's fighting against myself in response to the world. Is what I have to be careful of, because if I'm not a balanced, I have more masculine energy than feminine. So if I am not balanced in my energies, then I'm overcompensating. So I'm the fucking little machismo. I'm the asshole. You know? I don't want to be the asshole. So I gotta fight hard against my first inclinations, you know? Because I didn't grow up, I learned all the wrong ways to do life. And then learn the consequences of what happens when you live these wrong ways. And then I started living right. And then bad stuff stopped happening as much. Life did not ever stop happening. I wasn't creating more problems for myself, making more things happen. And it just made things easier for me to handle when they came up. Like, you gotta move. Now we're in a place, you know, we got money in the bank. We got every month, you know, we got rent's cheap here. Winter, I don't plan on going a whole lot of places because I hate the cold, and it's already cold. So but what I want to do is I want to move into a place where I can have a shop and a pot-belly wood stove. And I can just invent things. And I see people on social media that have, like, struggles in life. And I can invent the thing that would make their life easier. Or, like, there's so many things that I can do. Because there's so many things that I went without when I was a little kid. And I never went the way that I'm just going to make a bunch of money where I can do wherever I want. I never went that way. That was never what I ever aspired to do. What I did want to do is learn how to do all the things that I'd want to do. Like Ron Swanson, right? And that's what I did. There's plenty of things I still want to learn how to do. I want to get a lathe and make pet furniture that is and then use like natural, because where I live there's a lot of pinyon trees. They're like little round, they have these like, they're long, they're perfect, that I could make functional pet furniture. And I call them, I already got the name of the label. I've said it before, I don't think I'll say it now, because I want to make the labels and have them printed so other people can't take it. But I want to make like like cat trees and bookshelves. Stuff like that. I'm not saying that anybody that's watching the video will take it. I'm saying like once it gets uploaded. We are what I call super homegrown Amish. What we live in the woods with our chickens, we heat with wood. That's all I want to do, really. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Like I'm in a lot better off than I was 5 years ago physically, because I got my 2 20-pound weights, and so when I feel powerless, I do sets of 100 3 times until I'm too tired to remember what I felt powerless about. But I got all kinds. See, I got to live in a state too where I could grow flower, cannabis, because I make butter, and I'm starting to look again. While it's winter, I want to make gummies. I want to make my own gummies. I can make my own caramels. That's a matter of like, I'm not patient enough to wrap them all up and stuff, and they're too potent for me to be eating them all big. So, and then I have this program. It's through Biztronics, I believe it's what it's through. Yeah, it's through BZtronics. BZtronics.com. And this program, I can play frequencies. Here, that's too bright. Let me turn down the brightness. I can play frequencies. It has all these presets. So I could set the prefrets to like migraines, okay? And then I can make my butter or even gummies or whatever is the infused ingredient, and then I can put the frequencies into the butter and then make the product with the healing frequencies inside. And it has all kinds. It has it for Alzheimer's, chronic fatigue, energy boost, healing of all types, intuition, lose weight, migraines, mind expansion, pain, general, pain, headache, pain, joint, muscle, pain activation, psychic enhancement, relaxation, shamanic set, sleep normal, sleep plus dreams, sleep deep, sleep stress, or sleep deep, stress relief, tremors. So it's just resetting people's vibrational frequency and then doing it from the inside too. So I know this stuff is going to track one day. It's just, and if it's not anything that I do, hopefully somebody along the way will hear these and be like, oh shit. I told the lady that did my hearing test about that idea. So like, intelligent people recognize that I have good ideas. To the mundane, I am the parent on the adults and peanuts. The wah, wah, wah. That's what I sound like to people. Because the right frequency. But I'm gonna get going. Hey, it was really good to hang out with you and your wife today from Tennessee. I hope you come back sometime and hang out. I actually, it like that is the area. I'm looking at Missouri. I'm looking at like, and I know every place I go, there I am. So it's not even a geographic. I'm trying to find faith, because the last time I chose a place to live, we ended up in Salem, and that didn't go very well. And then when I released it to God, like I'm doing this time, He's gonna divinely guide me like He did here. I mean, I know that He is. You know, I just want to be really, really thorough in this, and then whatever happens after we get there, oh well, because we ain't gonna. This is our forever home, and we ain't gonna go nowhere. I appreciate you saying that. I hope people learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm so apt to share them with everyone. I'll be back later. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a rad day. Peace. You get hungry, Mom?